It's time to retab my Bible. I've had the tabs in there for 6 years now, and they were kind of cardboardy ones. I think they must have come with the Bible because I can't find any order for Bible tabs. I've bought these Mr. Pen Bible tabs from Amazon, and I chose them because the colours seem to be relatively appropriate for this Bible, and hopefully they will suit it. There was a few little extras in the package. There was a little thank you note. Thank you for shopping Mr. Pen. It means a lot to us, Kaylin, which was quite nice, a personal touch. The standard Mr. Pen moustache sticker and a thank you card. I have a little look through the tabs and the different colours they are, and I faff around a little bit with them. So I will probably stop the recording here, the voiceover, and put it into fast motion because I do quite a bit of faffing as I try and work out whether they line up. The tabs are slightly bigger, and so there will be a little bit of overlap, unfortunately, because I will need to cut the existing tabs off because they're not going to unstick. They've been on there a long time, and I just want to work out getting them as close to the originals as I can. So we'll just have a little look at that process. I cut the first tab off and I go to stick the tab on, and then I realise there's actually a chart, a tab guide, and I spend a bit of time cutting it out and seeing whether it'll work and lining it up, and then deciding not to use it anyway and just to use my previous tabs as guides. So it was a bit of a waste of time, really. But I would imagine it's actually very useful if you haven't got tabs already in the Bible. It would be actually quite a useful tool to use. And it's a shame I didn't have one of those when I first tabbed my Bible in 2020. But anyway, as you can see, I spend a bit of time there working it out, doing a bit of measuring and things like that. All very technical. But in the end, I just went for using my eye and sticking them in. It's all very straightforward how you stick them in. They're quite, they sort of, I guess they're kind of laminated, so they do come off relatively easy. I do try and peel it off, the previous tab off, but it didn't work. And I spend a little bit of time just getting on until I'm happy. Yep, that worked. And so I go for the next one. And again, I have to cut it off and stick it on. I'm sure most people know the processes of how to do this, but I just thought I'd show it anyway. It's a little bit different to what I usually do. And so forth. Again, it's all done by eyeballing. Nothing properly measured, and then I flip it over to make sure it's lining up properly, and then I get on with it. As you can see, this is in time lapse now, so it does make the process go an awful lot quicker. I really like this Bible. It's the first Bible that I've ever worked through, and I've spoken about it before. I thought I would do colouring, and whilst I did a tiny bit of colouring, most of all I just cover up the pictures now and write on it. Okay, so I have all the tabs in. They are thicker than my original ones, so as a result my Bible doesn't sit so nicely now because they're quite a bit thicker, which I'm slightly disappointed about, but I'll see how I go with them, and I can always remove them if I don't like them. So, but yeah, they are, one's come unstuck. They don't seem to stick overly well, so they will be easy enough to remove. So yeah, I have the tabs in, and I mean they're definitely better quality than my original ones, because my original ones were just like paper, but as a result they are definitely thicker. So, but yeah, on a whole I'm pretty pleased with them. I just don't like the way they make my Bible sort of stick out a bit strangely at the sides. Yeah, so that is that. what I thought I would do was go through what I did in April. I've been continuing to work through my NET Bible, my Net Bible. And I have worked through most of the Old Testament now. I've done almost all of it, apart from Job, Song of Solomon, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Lamentations, Ezekiel, and Hosea, and Proverbs. Now, I have actually done Hosea and I have done Isaiah in other Bibles, and they are quite recent, so that's partly why I haven't done them in these yet. I've started working on Psalms I have started working on Psalms the last few days, and I have got up to 37, I think it is. Oh, no, 38. So yeah, I'm continuing in my theme of changing the colour for each book. I have to say I'm not overly keen on the Net translation. In some places the translation differs so much it almost changes the whole meaning. In fact, here it does change the meaning. So it says here in Ecclesiastes 9:15, he could have delivered the city by his wisdom, whereas all the other translations say he did deliver the city. Now this is it changes the meaning completely, and I don't like that. And then another place where it's quite obvious is in Ecclesiastes, again in Ecclesiastes, it's 3:11, and it says, but he has also placed ignorance in the human heart, where the other versions will say, the other translations will say, he has also set eternity in the hearts of men. Now I think eternity is a far better word than ignorance, because it's a complete difference of meaning there, and I don't really know why the Net has chosen such a deviation in translations. I mean, you know, using completely different words that just do not match. And I think there must be one here as well. What did I write? No, maybe not there, but I can't remember now. I only started marking them when I came to Ecclesiastes, and I just thought that's just really wrong. I did do question marks and little highlights in it, but I didn't actually tab the pages where it differed so much. I think I did find a couple of places in Psalms recently that differed quite a bit as well, it is odd. There's actually a lot of places where the Net translation uses quite different interpretations of words compared to the other translations, and in quite a few places it does change the meaning, I believe, significantly. So yeah, I wasn't going to continue because that did put me off a bit, but then I thought I like to finish things that I start, so I'm going to at least finish the Old Testament. Whether I continue on to the New Testament, I'm not sure. I will have to have a think about that. But yeah, and the trouble is, unless you have other translations out with you, you don't always know when something is kind of written differently. Here's another one. It says other translations say, I wash my hands in innocence, whereas this says, I maintain a pure lifestyle. And yes, that can be considered very similar. However, washing the hands is a symbol of pure heart and a separation from evil. I've written there, symbolic of separation from evil. But I maintain a pure lifestyle. Yes, that is very similar. but the washing my hands in innocence is quite a well-known sort of phrase in the Bible about washing hands, symbolic of separation from evil and a pure heart. So but that's only minor. That's a minor one. But yeah, I'm not convinced by this translation at all. There are aspects of it I'm really not that keen on. But yeah, it does pay sometimes. It was only that I've sort of done Ecclesiastes before that I was thinking, no, that doesn't sound right to me. So I just looked up what I'd done before, and then I looked up in all the different versions, and I thought, well, hang on a minute, that's definitely different. Definitely different. So there you go. That's where I'm up to in the Net Bible. I'm still reading through my beautiful Allan NLT, and I'll go and get that now. I haven't managed to read this every day the last week and a bit, I think it is. So I've read almost all of the New Testament. I have just got the last few chapters of Acts to do, and then I've got Romans and Corinthians 1 and 2 Corinthians. I am absolutely loving reading this. The book just feels so nice to hold and to read from. So I'm still very, very thrilled with this. I have just a little checklist. I have no timetable that I want to get it finished by, but it's just a nice little reminder of what chapters I've read and where I'm at. And then once I've finished the New Testament, I will go back and read the Old Testament. And I've done it that way round because obviously I've been working through my Net Bible starting at the beginning, so I wanted to read this from the New Testament. So that's where I am with that. Today we had we go to somewhere that sells secondhand Bibles and things. Sometimes they're free, sometimes they're not, and I just picked up a few. They're all about 50p each, so I picked up these today. The NIV Compact Bible Commentary, so I thought that might be interesting. If I decide it's not for me, I'll just take it back to the little shop and redonate it, and then they can sell it again. So I picked up that. It's the 84 version of the NIV. And this was copyright 1994. I mean, it's not the actual Bible, it's a commentary for it. So that looked interesting. I thought this also looked interesting, the Daily Bible 30 Days with Jesus. I haven't done anything like this before, and I thought I might do that. It won't be this month now because I've got other things that I want to work through, but maybe next month in June. So it's the Gospels in chronological order, Life-Changing Devotions by F. Legard Smith. I don't know who he is. I don't know what this is going to be like. Again, it's using the NIV version. We are quite a prayerful church. We do prayer meetings and we always do open prayer within church. And I just thought these would be interesting to look through and read and possibly put in our little church library. So there's How to Pray, the prayer ministry of the church, and Let Us Pray. Now, I have no idea what these are like. I will be reading them first and going through them and seeing if they're suitable for the church. So that's something else. And again, if they're not, well, I can easily redonate them. Then I picked up this NIV Bible Commentary by Alistair McGrath. This is the first one I picked up, and it's got larger print, so it is slightly easier to read. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this in the Psalms just to see how it ties in with what I'm working on, and just have a look there. But it's got some maps in it and diagrams, so it does look interesting. It's an old publication. Published in 1988 by the looks of it. So yeah, it's quite an old book. Then I picked up this, The Harmony of the Four Gospels. Again, it's an NIV version. There's a lot. I don't normally pick up all the NIV versions, but that's what was in the shop at the time. This is 1996. So again, it will be based on the 84 version of the NIV, but that looked interesting as well. And then lastly, picked up this big tome here, Systematic Theology, An Introduction to Bible Doctrine. And again, I have no idea at the moment what this is like. I will look up the author and I will look up the book and see what other reviews are out there, and also whether I think it's suitable or not. But that is for the future. It won't be this month. I won't be looking at that this month. What I am continuing to do this month is, alongside my Bible study, I'm going to continue reading The Essential Tozer. I have already finished The Pursuit of God and I'm halfway through The Purpose of Man. So I'm really enjoying this. I've tabbed pages because I'm still not very good at marking up books, actual books. I mean, it took me a long time to mark up my study Bible. It goes against all that I was taught when I was a young girl, not to mark in books. But I may end up marking this, but at the moment I've just put little tabs in pages that look interesting. And then I actually bought this book for my husband, Stop in the Name of God, Why Honouring the Sabbath Will Transform Your Life. It's by Charlie Kirk. And as my husband was picking out things, I was just like, oh yes. And he said, this is right up your street. So I started reading this last night actually, and I'm now up to page 39. So I'm enjoying that, and I will do a proper review of all the books once I've finished them. And obviously I will continue working through my Inspire Praise Bible. I use that for various things, and I also use it every Thursday. And I will show you me putting new tabs in this Bible just after this video. I'll insert it here now. So yes, that's where I'm at. Quite a few things that I'm just chugging away with. As I say, I have no set timetable, no set deadline. I do want to finish at the very least the Old Testament and my Net Bible. I'm going to continue reading my gorgeous NIV, really enjoying that. And I'm enjoying these two books, The Essential Tozer and Stop in the Name of God. So I just pick them up as and when I want to read them. I do try and read at least a chapter of this a day, and I'll probably do the same with that, try to read at least a chapter. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed my update. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Feel free to leave a comment about what your plans and readings and thoughts are, whether you've know any of the books I've showed you that I picked up at the Secondhand bookshop, and with what other people maybe thought of the net translation. Now I know the full notes translation is considered to be very, very good, but I do have some issues with the actual translation itself, particularly when it has changed words that produce quite a different meaning and interpretation. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, read your Bibles, and God bless.